My husband taught me the true meaning of hitting rock bottom on the day we buried our son. He did it by bringing his mistress to the funeral. White lilies and grief clogged the air of the church, so thick I felt as if I were breathing sorrow itself. I stood woodenly beside the small white casket, my palm resting on the polished wood, a fragile barrier between my Noah and the cold earth waiting to claim him. My mind was a white, out of static, merciful numbness, until I saw her. Lydia Vale. She slipped into a rear pew, a vision in tastefully somber black, her blonde hair knotted in a sleek chignon. To the world she looked the grieving colleague. I knew better. She was head of PR for Hawk Industries, the viper I'd warned Adrian about, and the last person to see my baby boy alive. A tremor started in my fingers and shot up my arm until my whole body shook. "What is she doing here?" The whisper tore a ragged hole in the hush. Adrian's hand clamped around my elbow, his grip painful. "Evelyn, don't," he hissed, voice low and lethal. "Not here, not today." Aunts, his touch had been my comfort. Now it felt like a brand. I stared at the man who'd dropped to one knee in a torrential downpour because he couldn't wait another second to ask me to be his wife. The man who'd bought a rival firm and dismantled it piece by piece when they tried to poach me. That man was gone, replaced by a stranger whose only concern was the optics of tragedy. For 6 years, our marriage had been a whirlwind of creation. I was the architect who built Elysium's revolutionary source code in the sleepless dark. He was the brilliant CEO who sold my genius to the world. We were perfect, until Noah was born. My beautiful, nonverbal boy, with his rare genetic condition, had become a flaw in Adrian's immaculate narrative. "Get her out," I said, voice cracking. Heads turned. She came to pay her respects. Adrian bit out, jaw tight as he pulled me away from the casket. "You're making a scene, Evelyn." Injustice hit like a physical blow. I wrenched free and stumbled down the aisle. My legs felt encased in water. I stopped in front of Lydia's pew. Up close, her performance was flawless, eyes shimmering, lower lip trembling. "You have no right," I choked. She rose slowly, reaching for my arm. "Evelyn, I'm so sorry. I can't imagine what you're going through." Her touch was poison. I snatched my arm back. "Noah was in your care. You were supposed to watch him." "It was an accident," she whispered, a tear sliding in a perfect arc down her cheek. "He had a severe allergy. It was on every medical form, but you gave him that snack anyway, didn't you?" Adrian stepped between us, a wall of muscle shielding her. "That's enough. This is not the time or the place." "I have the security footage," I blurted, my last desperate card. "It will show everything." His expression didn't flicker. "I've reviewed it. The kitchen camera malfunctioned. There's nothing there. The floor dropped out of my world malfunctioned, of course, just like the time Lydia accidentally deleted a multi-million-dollar presentation, or mistakenly leaked a story about our reliance on an anonymous coder. She was a master of plausible deniability, and Adrian always gave her the benefit of the doubt. He destroyed the only proof I had. "Noah," I whispered, turning back to the tiny coffin. "Adrian, please. Think about Noah. Our son is dead because of her negligence." Lydia let out a soft sob. "I only wanted to help. I thought you could use a break, if I'd known." I saw red. I lunged, nails aiming for her lying face. Adrian caught me, spun me, shoved me back. Not hard, just enough to send me stumbling. Lydia gasped and staggered, tripping over her own feet. She hit the stone floor with a theatrical cry, clutching her stomach. Bristol. Adrian's concern was instant, visceral. He dropped to his knees beside her, hands hovering as if she were spun glass. "Are you all right, the baby?" The baby. The words sucked every molecule of oxygen from the church. "I'll go to the police," she sobbed, fisting his lapel. "I'll confess. Maybe then Evelyn will feel better. It's all my fault." Number, his voice was steel. He lifted her into his arms, cradling her like the most precious thing in the world. "You did nothing wrong." He turned on me, cold fury in his eyes. "But you, Evelyn, you are out of control." He carried her out, leaving me alone with the ghost of our son and the wreckage of our life. I don't remember how I got home. The next thing I knew, I was standing in the cavernous foyer, my phone buzzing with a push notification. A photo of Adrian carrying Lydia from the church, the headline branding me the unstable, hysterical widow. The doorbell rang. I signed for an unmarked box. Inside lay a life-sized doll. Noah's soft brown hair, his button nose, his impossible blue eyes. It wore the tiny sailor suit we'd planned to bury him in. A cold, dead effigy. "Do you like it?" Lydia stood in the doorway, triumph curving her lips. She sauntered in, hand resting on her still, flat stomach. "I thought you might be lonely. Adrian is so worried about you. Get out of my house." "Or house, soon," she corrected smoothly. "He's just waiting for the IPO. This baby is everything he ever wanted. A healthy heir, not defective." The world went red. I flew at her. She sidestepped, letting me crash into the wall, and screamed. Adrian burst through the door, face contorted. He saw me, wild, disheveled, and didn't hesitate. His hand connected with my cheek. The blow sent me sprawling, head cracking against marble. "You're insane," he snarled. "A danger to yourself and others." He phoned Dr. Whitman. "I've had a room ready. I hoped it wouldn't come to this." 2 orderlies in white entered. Adrian knelt, not to help, but to whisper venomously, "You will go to the clinic, Evelyn. You will get help. And you will not speak another word about Lydia or what happened to Noah. Do you understand me?" I looked into the eyes of the man I had loved and saw only a void. He wasn't sending me for help. He was erasing me. "I am not sick." The useless mantra fell from my lips to every nurse, every orderly, every doctor who entered the sterile white room. "I need to speak to my husband. There's been a terrible misunderstanding." They nodded with placid professionalism and made notes on charts. Diagnosis: paranoid delusional disorder triggered by extreme grief. My insistence on Lydia's guilt: a symptom, a projection of my own guilt. Neat, clean. Adrian's PR machine at work. Twice daily, the nurse arrived with a paper cup of pills. The first time I swallowed, they turned my mind to sludge, my limbs to lead. The second time, I refused. Her kind eyes hardened. 2 large orderlies pinned me while she forced the tablets down, holding my jaw until I swallowed the bitter taste of powerlessness. The third time I palmed the pills, spat them into the toilet when she left. Defiance did not go unnoticed. Dr. Whitman appeared, cold gray suit, colder eyes. "Your refusal is concerning, Evelyn. Adrian is very worried. We may have to consider more intensive therapies." I knew what that meant. I'd heard the whispers, seen the vacant stares of patients after treatment. The next day they came, strapped me to a metal bed in a room reeking of antiseptic and fear, cold gel on my temples. I screamed for Adrian, raw primal betrayal. "He's not coming, Evelyn," a nurse said. Pity worse than cruelty. A leather strap between my teeth. Dr. Whitman nodded behind glass. White. Hot agony surged through my skull, again and again. When they wheeled me back, I was a trembling wreck. I lay staring at the ceiling, tears I couldn't shed burning behind my eyes. The door opened, Adrian impeccable in dark gray, Lydia clinging to his arm, radiant, victorious. "I hear you've been having a difficult time," he said, devoid of emotion. He set a sheaf of papers on the bedside table, non-disclosure, post-nuptial relinquishing all claims. A pre-written press statement confessing my mental instability and apologizing to Lydia. I almost laughed. A dry, ragged croak. "You want me to tell the world I'm insane, that I lied so your mistress won't press assault charges she orchestrated. It's the only way, Evelyn." Strained patience explaining to a child. "Think of it as a fresh start. Sign, get out. We'll say you're going to a Swiss wellness retreat. No one has to know. And you get your perfect IPO, your perfect new family, your legacy intact. This is your last chance." The mask slipped. The ruthless CEO stared down. "Sign, or you stay. Dr. Whitman agrees your condition is severe, could be a very long time." Exhaustion deeper than bone won. The shocks had taken my will. "Fine," I whispered. Relief flooded his face. He helped me sit, guided my clumsy hand to sign. They released me that afternoon. I woke in what had been our bed, Adrian undressing me with mock tenderness. "I'm sorry it had to be this way. You forced my hand." He tucked me in. "Lydia will stay until she's recovered. Then I'll send her away. We can go back to how things were." I let him believe I accepted it. When he left, I rose, slow and painful, and packed the only thing that mattered: my memories of Noah. The next morning, crashes woke me. The photo wall of Noah, from newborn to toddler, was gone. Empty nails scarred the plaster. In its place, a gilt-framed portrait of Lydia in a flower field, hand on her belly. Obscene victory. Movers carried boxes past me. Noah's first shoes, the silver rattle, his stuffed giraffe. "What are you doing?" I screamed. Adrian appeared, phone to his ear. "Redecorating. Time to look to the future." I lunged for a box, collided with a mover. The portrait tilted, glass shattering. A shard sliced Lydia's arm. She shrieked, blood vivid against marble. "Bristol!" Adrian roared, shoving me so hard my head cracked the coffee table. Stars exploded. Through the haze, I whispered, "You burned them, the photos, his toys. You burned our son." He didn't deny it. They were just things. Holding on is unhealthy. I ran outside. In the manicured garden where Noah used to play, a fire pit smoldered. I dropped to my knees, plunged blistering hands into hot ash, retrieving melted plastic, blackened fabric. Pain in my heart eclipsed flesh. Adrian sprayed white foam, extinguishing flame and hope alike. "A lesson in letting go," he said, tossing the canister. "Learn it." I gathered every scorched fragment, washed them tenderly, locked them in a small rosewood box. Then I made the call that would bring it all down. That afternoon, I sat in the empty kitchen, rosewood box clutched to my chest, and texted Julian Sterling, Adrian's biggest rival. The only man who'd ever told me my talent was wasted in my husband's shadow. "Facey, need to talk. I have what you want. Elysium's core source code." Asterisk asterisk, his reply came swift. "Faye, name your price." Asterisk asterisk, I closed my eyes, seeing only fire. "Adrian," I whispered, "I will make you pay. I will watch you burn." Later, a doctor treated my burnt hands in silence. Adrian watched from the doorway. "Lydia's craving your seafood paella. Go make it." I lifted bandaged palms. "Our son has been dead less than a month. She's pregnant. She needs nutrition." Lydia drifted in, faux solicitous. "I'll just have soup. I wouldn't want to trouble Evelyn." Adrian's gaze hardened. "She's carrying my child. Cook for her, now." Number, the word rang small, immovable. His eyes narrowed. "Take her to the glass house. Lock her in until she reconsiders." My blood turned to ice. The glass conservatory, built for Noah, who loved color and light, was filled with exotic blooms. I have a life-threatening pollen allergy. I hadn't set foot inside in years. The irony choked me. The sanctuary he'd built for our son would now be my prison. They dragged me through the house, shoved me inside, locked the door. Sweet fragrance became a suffocating cloud. My throat closed, eyes streamed, lungs spasmed, welts erupted. I clawed skin to ribbons. Bees swarmed, drawn by my thrashing. Stingers pierced like hot needles. The world darkened. My last thought was of Noah, my sweet, silent boy. "I'm coming, baby." I woke to monitors beeping, IV fluids cool in my vein, alive. Adrian sat bedside, hair disheveled for once. The new gardener didn't know about the hive, or your allergies. He's been fired. History rewritten, cruelty recast as accident. "What do you want now?" My voice was sandpaper. He looked almost contrite. "Lydia's having nightmares. She believes Noah's spirit blames her. A psychic said the only way to appease him is for the child's mother. You, to climb the 1,000 steps to the summit temple on your knees. Pray for a protection charm." I stared, incredulous. He wanted me to crawl up a mountain for the woman who killed my son. "Number, please. Do this one last thing. Then I'll send her away. You and I can start over." The lie was smooth, practiced, but I was done fighting. Every new cruelty was another nail in his coffin. The next morning, bodyguards drove me to the mountain. Stone steps disappeared into cloud. I fell to my knees. By the 100th step, gravel had shredded skin. By the 500th, every upward lurch was agony. I thought of Noah, of revenge. I kept climbing. Hers later, I collapsed at the shrine, accepted the red silk pouch, leaning against a pillar. I dialed Julian. "Bad news first," I said. Your marriage is a sham. Adrian filed in Nevada 2 years ago, used a prenup loophole. You're not his wife. You're a guest in his house. Bitter laughter bubbled up. And the good news? You still own the code. Legally, morally, every backdoor you wrote is yours. Let's burn his house down. I gazed at the sunrise bleeding over the horizon, then we begin. 3 weeks later, the St. Regis ballroom glittered like a cathedral of glass. I descended the marble staircase in midnight silk, the same shade as Noah's favorite blanket, now ashes. Adrian's IPO valuation, $22 billion. I smiled, accepting champagne. Amazing what you can build on someone else's foundation. Julian appeared at my elbow. Sec will be fascinated to learn the original architect signed away rights under electroshock duress. Color drained from Lydia's face. Adrian's jaw clenched so tight, I thought teeth would crack. At midnight, the market closed. Elysium systems began to devour themselves. Logic bombs blooming like nightshade. Stock plummeted 87% before trading halted. I walked out as dawn painted the city gold, divorce papers, filed in my name, clutched in one hand, the rosewood box in the other. Behind me, Adrian was read his rights. Lydia screamed at photographers. The empire was ashes. The architect remained. And my story, my real story, had only just begun.